Welcome in, everybody. We have a good one today. I'm really excited about. Many of you have seen Jerry. Probably we did a video that was on the channel before, but I'm excited to talk with Jerry today. He's built an incredible real estate media business. I don't even know what kind of revenue he's doing now, but it's we're just having a quick chat backstage, Rod, Jerry, and I, and Rod will pull it up. But Rod has his notes from when he first spoke with Jerry as he was starting his business and jumped into coaching with us, and it's just cool to see, like, without giving it away, what Jerry wanted to achieve and what he's achieved now, I guess. I don't know how long later. So welcome in, Jerry. I think I unmuted you on my end, but you might have to click it on your side. It should be.
Yeah, y'all did that interview a long time ago, and it's on YouTube. But y'all, whose backyard was that? It was a random backyard somewhere, wasn't it?
It was during a workshop.
It was a workshop,
in LA, right, Jerry?
In LA, and surprisingly, it was cloudy and cold.
Yeah.
The one day y'all are there, right?
Definitely. Well, Jerry, thank you for jumping on here. And I guess if you don't mind, just kind of catch us up to, what got you into real estate media, what it's been like building your business, where you're at now, wherever you want to take it, just send it.
Yeah. So pretty much, long story short, I had graduated high school in 2021. And my initial plan was to go into, study computer science and go into software engineering. And then, I went the community college route. I wasn't going to pay that much money for it, the regular college route. But a couple of semesters in, I quickly realized, like, hey, this just may not be for me. And so I took the risk. I dropped out of college, and at the time I was working part-time at Chick-fil-A, and, working there, I felt like it was my first job. So I got a lot of like great work experience. And then, as I was working there, I kind of just came across like your page, lots of ads. I actually ran across like your online course before you started doing coaching.
Yeah.
So I bought that, and then I registered my LLC in, I think, January 2023. So that's when the business was born. I didn't really do much until I got more into like rep and more into your coaching. And then as of like September 2024, that's when I made the jump into coaching. And I just saw a lot of quick growth, and it just got to the point where, like, not even half a year, just a couple months, like in December, I saw so much growth that I was able to leave my part-time job at Chick-fil-A and kind of do this full time now. And now we're getting to the point where I'm slowly growing a team, and it's just a lot of great stuff happening behind the scenes right now.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things, so lately you just used Rep Talent to hire, actually, right? Okay.
Correct.
And what does your team look like right now? Do you have a VA? Do you have like photographers? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I have one VA right now. I had recently had just let go of a VA. It was a great person. It wasn't a great fit, and I had known I shouldn't have had that person for a while. But last year, it just got so busy that I was still learning so much, and I knew I had to make the decision at some point. So rehired a new VA this month, and she's absolutely incredible. She's just pretty much doing everything. So we have that. And then now we have a photographer on the team that I hired like in the fall of last year.
Yeah.
And she's doing absolutely amazing. My clients love her, and, just looking to continue to grow the team, grow photographers, and just keep on serving more agents.
Yeah. And what, we'll go back to the beginning in a second, but just like kind of where the business is at right now, what's been the biggest change, like having a team, and are you enjoying that? Cause did you start by wanting to build a team, or were you just trying to support yourself, or like, what was the vision, I guess, and how does it feel?
Yeah, I think earlier on, especially getting into rep, I was just hearing so many stories about how people are just getting like, 10K, 20K, even like Warren, who got like 40K solo. And that kind of just like broke my brain. I'm like, how is this even possible? And so like the more I just watched her content, the more I'm like, okay, like the people are making a living out of this and making, actual money. And, for me, like I always wanted to like make money, not just for myself, but to be able to provide for my family. And so really it was like a no-brainer decision to get into rep into coaching. But I think I known from the start that I've always wanted to grow a team, and just have that like leverage and just have that asset that kind of works for me, so I can provide more to like family and just people like that. And I think just seeing the resources that you guys have, just you guys are always constantly giving, and I feel like because of that I've been able to grow my business so much, and I want to be able to just reciprocate that with other people I encounter with.
Yeah. Well, I guess going back to the beginning, I know you said you saw an ad, but like what?
He said he saw a lot of ads. He
lot of
said he
ads.
was
A lot.
inundated with
Sorry about
you
that.
and your ads nonstop.
Just you couldn't even listen to anything else on your feed. It was just
like the Ford program, but like the stuff that you have for like launch and just like everything, like you're doing a great job. I will say.
thank you. What stood out about real estate media to you? Because like, I mean, there's a lot of businesses you can start and nobody ever thinks like, oh, I'm going to start a real estate. It doesn't like come out of thin air, right? Like you have to like, what excited you about it?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had like a thing for photography. I was really more I knew I always wanted to start a business. I just never knew what. And I was kind of doing photography as a hobby, nothing serious. But yeah, I knew I wanted to do like create like a business that's something that can provide for me. And then so really when I just came across your page, I think you saying like, oh, like this is possible. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I started to hear like other case studies, especially on like other YouTube lives with like other people, and just kind of like hearing those stories kind of again, it kind of just like broke my mind. I'm like, okay, this is a thing. Um, and it was just a matter of me just making the investment to not only put in the money, but to put in the time. And you know, since joining coaching, I haven't really looked back since. So it
Yeah.
was really just like a no-brainer for me. Plus, I didn't really have much to lose anyway. If that didn't work out, if it didn't work out, I was just gonna go back to Chick-fil-A and kind of just go back to the drawing board.
Yeah. Interesting. So it's just like, yeah, you already had the interest in photography enough to be like, okay, I just need some avenue to like put effort into. And that's the thing with photography, it can be tough to find something that's sustainable. And I think that's why a lot of people that are already interested in photography like real estate, because it just sort of like checks those boxes. It's like you get repeat clients as we talk about. And then, as referrals are amazing. I guess talk about that. Has a lot of your growth been from referrals as well? And what do you think you do to, make clients like working with you?
Yeah, I think really, especially this past year, we've just seen so much growth, and a lot of it has been leveraged through social media. Earlier on, I kind of noticed that I have a really good handling with just interacting with other people, even people I've never met, just on social media. And always having like a post, especially with like new clients. Like a thing that I try to like a habit that I try to do is just every time I work with a new agent, I'm always asking for to take a selfie with them, and then I'll tag them so that they can repost on their story and other people can see. And I think that alone, like they didn't even like have to see the work. They're already just referring other agents like, hey, I worked with Jared. He was great, great photos, but like great service. I think that really hit hard in a way that a lot of other agents really haven't seen like certain vendors do. Um, and so I think that was really my main strategy at the time, and it worked really well. And so if I were to like recommend, anyone like, oh, like I can't really excel, like what, like how should I do, like what should I do to grow the business? I think you just started with social media and just really share as much as possible, especially with sharing your story. I find that every time I share a story to like other agents, like new people, they just become so invested, especially if you tell them from like the early on stages, or they kind of like watch you grow. They're more invested to see you win. And I think I've been able to build like really strong relationships that way.
That's really good advice. Like the getting them invested in you thing, especially because I think a lot of people are really scared to let people know that they're new, because they're like, they don't want to be seen as new, But I think if you, like you said, if you lean into that, it's actually a huge asset, because they just, I mean, you said it all. I don't have, I don't need to repeat anything. You said it better than I will anyway. They just want you to win. And so they follow you. Rod, I know you have some questions in there.
It's burning.
It's
I want to backtrack a second to a moment you said about you saw testimonial. It kind of sounded like the belief maybe hit you that I can do this. And I had a conversation with an awesome guy today who I've been talking with a bunch that's been looking at this business, looking at coaching, for a bit, just making sure it's the right thing, which good on you. And it's like with him, like what he said and what a lot of people say, is just like you see it, but it's like, how do you believe it for you? And it's kind of like that fear of, can it happen for me though? I see, like, people see our testimonials. They see people like you on here. They see Rachel last week. They see it. And some people see it and immediately go, I could do it too. Let's go. some might take a little marination to overcome that belief that I can do it. What was that like moment like? Kind of, if you, I know it was about 2 years ago or something now. Literally, actually 2 years ago. We first spoke on January 5th, 2024, crisp Tuesday
Crazy.
morning. It was 63 degrees that morning. I don't know if you remember that or not, Jerry, but it was.
Man.
But what was the moment where you saw the interviews that we've done with people, like people are watching this right now? What was the moment where you decided it was real for you and that it would happen for you, or at least something would happen for you? Or did that moment kind of, was that over time or something?
A little bit over time, but I definitely would say with especially the testimonial videos, I think just hearing how, people just coming from like different industries, but even like also different situations, whether it's like job or just, trying to provide for their families and like working. I know there's like one guy that worked like three jobs while building the business and got it to almost like 30K, which is amazing. But just hearing stuff like that is just so inspiring. And in a way, I wanted to like take that energy and create like my own inspiration story for myself.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, it definitely happened over time, but it also made sense, as soon as I heard like other people talk about it. So it wasn't like like
There wasn't
it was
like
going to
one
take a
interview
while.
that made you go, you know what, it's time. It was just like, it just kind of over time, you hearing enough of different people and different backgrounds, different walks of life, making it happen. So you're like, all right, statistically, I could probably make it happen too at that
Yeah.
point. So it's more just like the logic kind of took over after a while, it sounds like. So that's interesting because, I was talking with that gentleman today and, I was kind of wondering like, how does one believe they themselves can be that? Besides just sometimes you just got to have that delusional blind belief sometimes that I'm going to be that person getting interviewed. Like you saw the interviews. Now you're being interviewed. It's kind of a cool full circle moment if you think about it. So interesting. Yeah. That's
What do you think? Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, Jerry. What do you think?
Jerry don't. He got straight
Yeah, he
strengths.
just has strengths. That's it. Not a single one in
Sweet.
there. What are some of your strengths, or what do you think like helped you in this business? I guess.
Definitely leading with the customer service aspect. I think with Chick-fil-A, they're one of like the best business like models to model after. And so for being, I worked there for about 3 years, and it was always just. I tell people all the time, like Chick-fil-A, they don't have the best chicken in the world, but it's good enough, and that customer service is just so top tier that people remember that, and they want to come back. And I wanted to create that same feeling for when in my business. I want people to feel like you know we work so well with them that we feel like we're a part of their team, and they just make it difficult for them to like try out a different vendor. And that's something I'm really harping on to this year as I'm growing the team, is to just really harp and focus on the point of just customer service, like so much so that it's just like I said, it's just difficult for that other agent to want to work with someone else, especially in a competitive market.
Yeah,
Is
no,
what I've
that's very
learned.
true.
Yeah.
Did you? I know. I mean, this
Especially in
is
a
just,
competitive market. That's a good, like you got to out customer service the others.
yeah.
Is kind of how it is. And I said we had a win
Yeah.
in the coaching community the other day. I think it was where someone painted someone's fence, kind of like you did 10 years ago, painting the shed, Eli. But someone in our community yesterday or the other day grabbed a paintbrush and started painting a fence with the agent, and they were shocked. And it's like those are opportunities. Sometimes I think from some of the stories I'll hear and some posts people might make about being, oh, this agent asked me to do this, sometimes people look at it like those are burden moments, but then you have people like you that look at that like, yes, finally they need a fence painted. I get an opportunity to customer service them. So it's like, I think it's interesting.
That's where the money is
that
made,
kind of how you
honestly,
look
if you
at
think
it? Do you
about
like
it.
kind of find those opportunities to be able to showcase that?
Yeah, like even just looking back now, like anytime I was at a photo shoot and I was just doing the photos, I feel like there could have been not to say a missed opportunity, but I kind of look for those moments to just wow the person, and because that's something that they remember. And anytime you do something that's like really heartfelt, people will remember that. And
Mm.
if you can have other people talk to you in like that kind of a way, you're gonna attract more people to work with you, and that's just always something I'm looking for. And yeah, like your paint the shed story. I remember when I first heard that, and I was like, yeah, that's literally what it's all about. How can I paint more sheds, honestly?
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that I look for.
It's
And
interesting too,
for those
'cause
that are listening, oh, go ahead, Eli. I'm excited now. I'm gonna
no,
keep
no, no.
rambling.
I was just gonna say really quickly, it's more fun to run that type of business, I think, too, because Rod mentioned this earlier, but there's those you'll see in different, photography groups. Sometimes you even see it in our Facebook group. We try to, shape it a little bit, but people have this, they kind of act like they're being taken advantage of by the agent's requests sometimes. And
Mhm.
it's just so interesting because they're usually not that wild of requests. It's like some pretty basic stuff. And if you look at the companies like yours, I mean, you grew really quickly. The people we interview, they all have that kind of in common, which is they just really care about their customers. And they know that, like, not even from a transactional standpoint, but they know that if they just take care of that customer will take care of them long term. And that's how you really
Absolutely.
build a business.
I know exactly what post I think you're talking about, where it's very duality of human, isn't it? Of
Yeah.
humans, isn't it? But it was like, this just happened. What are y'all thinking? Half the comments are like, ditch them. You don't need them. The other half are like, they sound pretty great. They just need to be told maybe a few things. I'll take them. So it was just like, huh. So I guess it's the mind that it's, do we react or do we look at it like an opportunity? And
It's just too easy. Like, I know you know this, Jerry, but it's like, it's is that not the easiest thing that we could do as business owners? Like, some people try to spend so much time getting like 3% better at video. I'm like, well, what if we just were nice? Like, that seems easier.
Literally, no, yeah, and it doesn't take that much.
crazy.
And anytime I see that, I'm like, okay, bet this is like my opportunity to just like come in and just because at the end of the day, it's really all about mindset too. Like, yeah, you can like get better at the photos, get better at the videos, but you have to lead with the customer service first. Otherwise, it's just you're not going to go far.
What do you think? As someone who is already come very far and is going much further, and I'm excited to see your growth. What do you think of some of, like, what have been the peak moments so far that you just really enjoyed about the business?
Man, that's a great question. I think one of the first peak moments for me was definitely hitting that first 10K month. And it's so funny because when I like to write down goals in the beginning of the year, and that the 10K a month, like 10K mark, was definitely one that I at the time I thought it was going to be take a while for it to like kind of get there. And I remember it didn't even take like a month after I left Chick-fil-A, like already hit it in February. I'm like, whoa, like, all right, like what's the at the time I was like, okay, cool. Like, what do I do next? Like, I had no idea. Like, I hit it so quickly, it kind of just like shocked me. And throughout the year I could have done a better job with, other than just like coasting. But that was definitely one for sure. But even like more important than that, I would definitely say attending like a lot of like networking events, especially through rep. I've
Mhm.
been able to just meet so many like such incredible people throughout the business, like throughout the country, or yeah, the country, and just really learn so much about just people and like how they operate their business. And
Mm.
you know, it's hard to find other people like that in like a local community. So being able to um, go to spots where you can, you find your people, I think that's super beneficial. And I think that's done a lot for my business over this past year and will continue to, help me as the, years go on.
Yeah, great. That's nice too. I mean, at the stage you're at, it's like you said it, but there's not a lot of local support you can get, and I was also it's hard to find people who know the business enough to not give you bad advice, because, like, you can ask anybody for business advice, and even people that shouldn't be giving it will happily give it. And so just being around other people is like, I know what you mean. It's like it's strategically good for your business, but it also feels nice because you're like, I
Hmm.
found people that understand what I'm doing.
Like feeds your soul in a way.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like excited. Yeah,
It has like the same kind of vibe when you go to a concert, and everyone around just loves the same thing. Or you go to a convention,
yeah.
and everyone just loves the same thing. So you're getting some good
Yeah.
shout outs in the comments too. You can see the
I
comments,
know. I've
right?
been having fun pinning them in here.
I'm I have it on full screen, so I don't want to get too distracted on it, but
Yeah, that's my fault.
That's me. I'm
uh,
like, oh, if you catch me looking like this, I swear I'm like, I'm still here. I'm just like making
yeah.
sure,
But to kind of go back on that note real quick, the rep conference as well. Man, I'm so glad I was able to just be a part of a cool experience and just meet so many people that I've been able to like that I've looked up to watching your content,
Mm,
sharing their stories. It was just for me, I think that was like a really full circle moment, as well as like for my mom, because You know, you've met her. She's
Yeah.
been a part of the journey like throughout, like since when I started, and
Yeah.
for her to bring her to like the conference and just meet other people and just see what this industry is all about. That was like a full circle
Mhm.
moment for me. So that's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, she's gotta be so proud of you. I know you know that. She probably tells you, but she should be.
And I'm like 99% sure she might be in the comments.
Oh
Is
yeah,
Probably.
you pinned one of her
okay.
comments.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
She's in the
Okay.
other room watching right now as we speak.
That's
Commenting,
amazing.
I love it.
Love you, mom.
Oh,
What,
shout out mom.
to kind of go to the other side of things, I guess, what are some of the harder moments or harder things that you've had to work through building your business that have challenged you?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's stuff that I'm learning now. It's the stuff that I currently like really don't know about as I'm growing. Um, Especially as I'm getting to like the team building phase. A lot of it is just like you say all the time, like you go from star player to the coach. And I think making that transition, like on paper, it makes sense, but like the practice of it, it definitely takes time and whatnot to just really like invest in the people that you're working with and making sure that you have a solid foundation to be able to like now reach like new heights. And so it's something I'm always learning, something I always try to get better at. Um, and then just like everyday like front client facing stuff like oh like I need a reshoot here, or just all of it like happening at once, and I'm still in the phase of like trying to grow, like scale a team, and like still doing a little shoots. And so that's and like you say all the time, the dead zone between like the 15K to like before 50K.
Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of challenges and a lot of obstacles that are on the way that I know that are ahead, but um, that's another reason why I'm just like so invested in the community, because there's so many people who have gone through the same obstacles, and I'm always this year I'm really trying my best to um just ask like all those people like how they handled those obstacles so that I
Mm.
can spend less time making those like same mistakes.
Yeah, it's a really good move just 'cause we all have the same business, so if you can learn the smart way, it's better than the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the nice thing too, I mean, I think you're probably experiencing this already, but you'll continue to, is the people who are good with customer service and they are good at that side of their business, that's the same thing that it is team building. You just turn it to your team. And it doesn't mean, you're going, you have to run a thoughtful business and you can't, you know, you have to manage and you have to give people feedback sometimes, but you kind of do with clients too. And so it's like that same skill set. It's like you want to create a good environment where you're treating them right. And that's the nice thing is I know that you are doing that and will continue to do it. And that's really the biggest skill set. It's like there's all this new manager stuff you have to learn. But a lot of it is just like if you're a decent human that wants best for, good things for other people, you tend to do pretty well doing it. So I don't see, I think you'll scale past 50K with it's going to take a lot of effort, but it's not going to be like this insurmountable thing. I think you'll do it, within the same time frame that a lot of those people that you spoke about that you watched do it did it. Well, speaking of that, like what is I know it's you said you wrote down your goals, so I don't know if you have any like going forward, but what's the next big milestone for you, or what are you working towards right now?
Oh, Jerry's going for
Yeah,
that 50K month. He
I'm
said it
going for that
earlier.
50K, man. Like I have it dead set, and it's so funny because since the conference and especially this year, I've just been watching every single video you have about like getting to the 50K, scaling to 50K. It's like it's something I'm always like just trying to feed my brain on. And
Mhm.
you could literally put on a different shirt and say the exact same thing, and I'll watch it like another 50 times. Like that's how much I'll get into it. But also in in coaching, I'm always, if I'm not able to attend the group calls, I'm always listening to the recordings like multiple times.
Good for
Um,
you. Mm,
just to the point where like I know it's gonna happen, and I'm currently building the reality of a 50K month for
mm.
for Dallas Cozy. So it's like you said, there will be a lot of effort, a lot of work, but I enjoy the process. I'm having a lot of fun just doing it. So it's gonna happen.
That's
And I
something
really
that
want it to happen this year.
yeah, I think it will. I mean, it's that you're on that trajectory where it's just like the only reason it wouldn't is if you just really didn't hire when you should have and you get bottlenecked, which is not the end of the world, then it happens the next year. There's something you said that I wanted to point out though, which is you said you listen to the group call recordings and you already know what's going to happen. Like, you know how I'm going to answer, you know how the other people are going to answer. And it's like, why do you still do it? Well, because you said it, you're basically immersing yourself in it. Like it's a new language, you know, and so you want to learn. So it's just like a normal day with everything that comes up. And I don't think a lot of people, and this is mainly talking to the people that are in coaching here in the chat, because there's always a good handful. You know, one of the biggest regrets that I would say I hear from people is that they didn't take as much advantage of those group calls and just the, you know, it's like a podcast, even if you're not actively involved, just, I mean, there's like what, 10, 12, 13 of them a week that you can listen to. And it's like when you're driving to shoots, you might as well be, you know, even if you know the answers, like sometimes you just hear a different perspective or somebody asks a question. And so I just wanted to point that out.
And that was my biggest mistake last year when I was, you know, in coaching and just growing the business. I was doing the necessary things, but I wasn't, you know, I didn't have like any like speed or just, I kind of just like delayed like everything, and I kind of made those mistakes. And now looking back, I'm glad I went through it because I've learned so much. But now this year, I really want to just, you know, change the way how I like approach certain things. And and the reason why I say like I just, you know, I'm always watching the, you know, the content is just, it's kind of like how people read, you know, the same book like 10 times. For me, it's just like that. It's just always listening to the content to see if there's like anything new that stands out. And oftentimes I find that every time I'm listening to the same video, I still get something new out of it. Like when I get to a certain stage, it starts to make more sense. I'm like, okay, this is what he's talking about. And so that's been my biggest focus this year.
The urgency kind of.
The urgency.
Yeah. I didn't have a lot of urgency when I was first starting either. I think it's, I don't know if it's just part of being new to anything is like, you're not as confident yet. So urgency feels like scary because you're like doing stuff that you're not confident at fast. I don't know what it is.
To be urgent towards something we're not confident on.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Some people, I mean, you know, you did it a lot better than I did, Jerry. It's why you grew faster, you know? And then I think it is that way. It's like the people that grow the fastest just have that urgency. Yeah, I wish I knew how to like tell people from day one to have it, you know? It's like, I wish I could go back and just slap myself, be like, Eli, I didn't think this was a real business, you know? I was like one toe in the water instead of like, you know, cannonball in, which I should have done.
No.
Rod, you probably have
two
up in there. Perfect.
I got 2 questions.
Only 2?
Oh,
no.
They're good questions. Two good ones, I swear. Okay.
Let's get it.
Let's get to, I mean, okay, this is all nice, good, sweet chit chat between you both, but don't you both hate each other technically? Because you're both competitors in the same area. I mean, let's cut to the chase. The elephant in the room, everyone's been away. So how is it being competitors in the literal same area? And why are you coaching him to be in your area, Eli? Are you crazy?
I don't know if you're asking me or Jerry this question.
Right? Like, who's going to answer first?
Someone answer.
The real answer, and I'll let Jerry say whatever he wants, because Jerry's the smart one here. I'm, in this case, probably not the smart one because I'm the one that was like, hey, yeah, I'll show you what to do, Jerry. But the reality is, in the way I look at it, I mean, there is way too many real estate agents, and real estate media is a growing market, and there's plenty for everybody. And I just don't like, I personally don't think like any sort of scarcity has ever helped me grow my business. I think it's done the opposite. So I think everybody can win. But yeah, any thoughts on your end, Jerry?
Yeah, man, trying to grow this business in DFW with Norman Young is so difficult. It's just the worst thing.
Your agents say, oh, I'm already working with Norman. And
I know Eli. Like we worked with him for like over 12 years. No, but like Eli said, it's just, in the area I'm in, it's just such a huge market. I've joked to, Eli all the time, like there could be 10 Norman Youngs and it still wouldn't be enough for DFW. So there's enough piece of the pie for everyone. And if you really think about it, I've built my business straight from my competition, not only from Eli, but Brad, he was one of my coaches when I was in Forward, and he's in DFW too. And
yeah, that's hilarious.
Really, it's like
about that.
Yeah. If I don't want to let competition kind of get in the way, because really all it is just a limiting belief and mindset.
That's so true.
So if I can do it in a big market with Norman Young, and don't get me wrong, there's other like huge DFW.
Yeah, bigger than Norman and Young. There's plenty of businesses bigger than us in DFW.
And I've still been able to, grow within like a lot this past year.
You know what's so funny too? It's nice. DFW is obviously a big market, but there's also like a billion real estate photographers here. The big picture thing is there's literally like 3 million real estate agents in the United States. I think like 1.8 million are realtors, and some, I forget the distinction, whatever. There's just too many is really what it is. Like if you think about, even in a lot of markets, there's a lot of wedding photographers, and it's like, how often does someone get married versus like how often they sell? Like you drive down the street and there's like, for sale sign, for sale sign, for sale sign. It's like, I guarantee you there was no weddings needed in that neighborhood, you know, that week there was none. And so it's like, there's just I think people misunderstand, because you think of wedding photography as a big industry. Real estate photography is so much bigger. And I think it's just hard to like comprehend that.
Yeah, you don't realize it until you're like in the industry. And like even before, I had no idea about real estate media until, I
Yeah.
was watching your content. I'm like, this is a thing. It's repeatable. People like refer, like all it's like,
Yeah.
sign me up. Like
If it
I didn't
goes under the
hesitate.
radar, it's not what, like, I make this joke all the time, but you like, there's no 5-year-old that's going, I want to be a real estate photographer when I grow up. You just don't think of that. And you don't wake up one morning being like, like something has to happen. Like my mom was a real estate agent, you found my ad. Like there has to be something, because you don't just think of it. Everybody thinks of, if you want to make money with a camera, they're like, make videos for businesses or do wedding shoots, or like there's these 4 things we all think about. And so I think a lot of the people go there, which is, not a bad thing for us. Rod, look at the question.
I've never seen Rod with that stance.
You've been saying that about how people don't wake up one day at 5 and want to be a real estate photographer, but I bet you give it a couple of years, and some of our students who have said that their kids are noticing that they're running a business and happy, like you mark my words, a couple of years from now, we might get a few 5-year-olds that say, you know what, I want to be a real estate photographer like my parents. So I don't know. That's interesting. That's a goal now.
It's the new Bitcoin.
That's it. So
it is a newer industry, which is interesting too. It's like, there's just not, there wasn't real estate photographers really like 20 years ago. There was Todd. I'm pretty sure that's it.
And you got Kevin up in here talking. And wasn't there a moment where Kevin and Justin? It was 2 big powerhouses, I think, were talking that lived in the same area and market the same area. We're talking, and they kind of compared agents and clients that they had, and there was like no crossover at all.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like they couldn't find like any, like, oh, I used to work with, like,
I remember.
There was no recognizing any of the names at all. Kevin, that might have been, if that was you, let me know. But I remember there was like 2 powerhouses talking and 0 crossover at all in their market, and it wasn't like a DFW market or anything. So it's just kind of interesting. And I think it's like, you just have an overall healthy view of competition too, as well, Jerry. I think like some people look at it like competition. Some of it look at like friendly network. So it's just, I guess, the way we look at it. And even Adam's in here commenting, shout out Adam, about they have an Orlando real estate photographers chat that everyone just helps each other out in.
That's great.
It's a friendly biz. From what I've seen, it's not like a cutthroaty business. Some can try, but it's overall like, I think you have a healthy view of competition, obviously. It's why you do well with competition, and why you're sitting with competition, Hal, being nice to Eli, even though we know behind his back, like, I'm going to take Norman and Young down.
We've come a long way.
I was kidding. It's amazing.
What, Jerry, like, what is your, just, for people that are just starting, I think for me, it was kind of cool to like, or it would have been, to know like what people at the next stage of business kind of did. It's like, what do you do on a daily basis? Like you do shoots, you manage your team a little bit. Like, what does your day look like?
Yeah. So right now I have 1 photographer looking to onboard, another one here pretty soon using Reptile again. And so a lot of it mostly is if I'm not doing shoots, it's a lot of training, or just doing like a lot of outreach. So, what I've noticed is that I really enjoy stopping by like just random like brokerage offices and
Really?
just introducing myself. Surprisingly, and
Yeah, I was scared of
it's
that,
something that
too.
it's something that I'm leaning more into. Just shaking hands, kissing babies.
Yeah.
I feel like the in-person connection. I find that I just really enjoy like creating that relationship that way. And I still do a lot of like Instagram method. My VA does a lot of like my Instagram method now, but I think more importantly, I'm trying to find ways to find like more leverage in the business, especially as I'm onboarding more photographers. And like you always say, like client acquisition is just a must. And for me, I found that attending in-person events, going into offices, just making connections is just something that I really enjoy doing, and it doesn't even feel like work, to me, honestly. It's just having those opportunities to, like I said, find more leverage to grow the business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun at the stage you're at now, because you're kind of in that like middle ground, but there's also like just a lot of stuff can happen quickly, which is just super cool. I guess just kind of
a
final
arriving already. Yeah.
Sort of a parting question for you. And we're gonna have to
We have to indulge in his notes from his first call with
you
us.
you better do that. You better just talk
Let
about
me do that
Rob.
first, because I had 2 questions. Remember, I only had one, so I got another.
I did.
Hey, I got time. I got time until all the ice melts, honestly.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, you got that ice.
You jump in. I'll ask my ending question is a good one to end on. So you do your thing, Rod.
I don't want to end. I don't want to ruin your end question.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I think it's just cool. Everyone watching too. I have notes here from the first call I had with Jerry 2 years ago, considering coaching and considering he had done 2 shoots at the time in real estate media, just kind of on the verge of just that jumping in all in kind of area. And it was January 5th, 2024. And in here, your why, like you mentioned, build a legacy, provide for your family, right? Goal of hitting 6 figures, right? Hitting 10 grand a month was your goal. To be able to hit 10 grand a month, you're averaging 11 grand a month too as well. You worked at Chick-fil-A at the time, I have in my notes, wanted to replace that. So I guess my big question is, man, I mean, how does it feel like it's my favorite thing for entrepreneurs is there's a certain moment, I don't know what to call it, I'm going to figure out a name for it, but there's a moment where you realize what the hell you've just done and what you've overcome and what you've built and what you've done from the ground up. And it's a very prideful moment. That's just, it can bring a lot of feel. So I guess right now, like, how does it feel to know that everything you told me 2 years ago, you live in and breathe in and accomplished it? You got a Chick-fil-A like month 2, to be fair, or something. Yeah. But how does it feel to have achieved everything you said you're going to set to achieve 2 years ago?
Yeah, just absolutely incredible. I'm just so blessed that I've been able to, not only achieve the goals that I wanted to throughout the year, but just, continue to, like you said, just provide for my family. Recently I've been able to just provide for them in a really big way. And I think that's really, in a way, not necessarily like changed my why, but it's changed my approach on like doing certain things for the business. And it kind of creates that urgency for me, because it's no longer just about me. It's something bigger. And it's really easy to just like kind of move the goalpost in business. So I always make it like intentional to kind of just look over what I'll like, I've accomplished. And it's just so incredible to be able to kind of create the life that I wanted to. It's been an incredible experience.
A lot of work too, but it's it's like you're gonna work and do something anyway, might as well do something like this where you get, I think I always try to, when I have people on here just in general, like I don't want to make owning a business be like, I don't want to paint a picture that makes it, when you have a hard time, you start second guessing, because it is really hard to run a business. But I think you got to have that balance, right? It's like you got to hear, like you talking about what you've built inspires a lot of people. And then we also got a good chance to talk about what it took to get there. And so I think it's just like that. If people have an accurate view of what it's going to take to build a business, I think they're going to be a lot more successful with it. And so I always try to make sure that we, touch on both sides of those things. Rod, did you have another question, or should I ask my final?
Hold on. Let's be real. The real reason is this is a magic book that I have. And when people have goals and I write it down in this book, it gets achieved. So
there you go.
It's a special.
Rod, we need to talk after this. I have much bigger goals.
Anything you want, Jerry, you tell me. I write it in here.
We'll talk off stream.
Add a couple of zeros. You might as well, what I'm saying?
Oh. 6 figure. Wait, that says 8. Hold on. But no,
one day it's happening.
That's my favorite part of this, and I appreciate you contributing to what we love to do, which is to see what you guys want, you to say it to us out loud, what your goal is in those calls that we have in the beginning, and then for you to achieve that with obviously the hard work and you being an incredible person that you are with the agents that you work with, and that comes across too. So it wasn't all us getting you there by any means. You obviously were driving the whole time too. Yeah. So it's just, thank you for, that's just why we do this. And this is why we love what we do. And you just wholeheartedly contributing to just the vision that we have, so on top of just being here today and being thankful for that, just thank you for obviously putting in the work into this, and just how many people you help on these, and you're commenting in the Q&As every Thursday. I see you in there commenting in the groups that we have in the community inside, always supportive of everyone. Everyone always has great things to say about you, always here. And you contribute to this community in a big way. And I know you know that. So thank you, obviously for everything.
Oh man, thank you guys for just letting me be a part of such an incredible community. And any any opportunity that I'm able to like just give back, I don't hesitate. So I really look up to the things that you guys have built as well, and so so I should be thanking you guys.
Oh, thank you, man.
I appreciate it. Well, I guess I get to get my last question finally. I think, you know,
Better be a good one, dude.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, drum
I
roll.
got to like really frame it now that I've talked about it so many times. So I kind of think of, you know, in the real estate media industry, it's like, imagine getting on a river in a raft. The river kind of carries you. And so if you do the right things, your business will grow. And for a lot of people, they just sit on the riverbank and they never actually like take that step into the raft to start going because it's scary. You're like, I've never been down that river before. So what would your advice be for someone who's just starting that's like, maybe they watch a lot of these lives, they've watched my content, but they just like can't figure out how to like take the first step. And I'm not saying like join coaching. Obviously, you know, we'd love to work with them in coaching, and that's probably the move they will take. I'm talking about smaller than that. I'm just taking like the next step in their head. What would your advice be for them?
I think if I were to like tell this to myself too, starting out, I would simply just say like, just start asking more questions. Just reach out to as many people as you can reach out to learn more about it, and just really like ingest as much information as you can.
Mm.
But as you're doing that, don't ingest it just to do nothing. Just take action. One thing that Rod didn't mention on our first call is that yeah, we had our first call in like January 2024 or whatever,
Mhm.
but I didn't have another call with him until September.
Mhm.
That was
And looking
page
back at it,
2. That was page 2. Our call 2 was July 31st, 2024. So
or
I think you
July.
took about 3 calls, you know,
Yeah.
so.
And looking back at it, I feel like my biggest regret since like starting the business was just not joining sooner.
Mm.
I really wish, you know, I just took the leap of faith. And you know, but it's
It's hard to do.
It is
it's hard to do
Easier
because
said
like
than done. You
it's
know now because you're making, you know, 11 grand a month with it, right?
exactly, and it's kind of hard to look at, you know, like the future, like where is this going to be, like how where, like I don't know. I think looking back now, I've definitely taken a lot of time when I was, you know, trying to make a decision, and you know, I I tell myself all the time I'm a recovering perfectionist, and so I just, you know, I really want to get better at um, taking the time from thinking of something, kind of like planning it, to like doing the action in just like
Just getting
seconds,
that condensed.
just
Yeah.
condensing that time. And so if I were to like give advice for anyone else that's kind of, you know, in a similar spot, or just you know, just starting out, I really believe that one, if you're able to find those resources, take
Mhm.
action and just become as resourceful as possible. I promise you, you won't lose anything and you'll go super far.
Jerry, thank you for being on
That
here.
was
Thank you for
well
your
said.
time. And yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, I like to see everybody win. I especially like to see people like you win. You're just a great guy, and I
Oh man,
appreciate
I
you.
appreciate
Appreciate,
it.
you know, how genuine you are. And yeah, keep at it. And we'll have you on here when you hit the next 50K goal. Rod
Oh
wrote it in
yeah.
his notebook. So, you know, you don't even have to work for it now. Rod's notebook will do all the work for you.
Sit back and relax,
Man, don't
dude.
say that now. People will be coming for my head. But
Jerry,
no,
thank
I'll
you.
be back soon.
Yes, sir. Have a great rest of your day, and appreciate you as always. We're here always if you need anything. Take care.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Jerry.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank
See you, man. Oh,
What another good one that was.
I know. That was incredible. I love it the most when I have the notes.
I know,
from
that's
the
so
first
cool. It's
call.
just like
Oh,
it's
it's really
crazy because
cool.
I know it's been like, you know, Jerry's done a ton of work since then, and this isn't like taking away from the work he did, but like time flies. You know, it feels like it was yesterday. It's just like cool to you know, for you especially having that initial call with Jerry, and then like, you know,
Yeah.
we get busy, life happens, and you like realize where Jerry's at since then. It's just crazy. So
It is
yeah,
amazing. All right,
um,
y'all. Let's power some Q&A
let's
questions.
do
We
it.
went a little over because that was incredible. But
Yeah.
I want to leave some time to go through some questions too. So there's been some really good questions in the comments. So if you guys want to re-ask it, you're more than welcome to. It helps me see
Yeah.
those. But
We'll
let's
just start
speed
from the
through and see
bottom.
how many we can ask. Let's challenge ourselves, see how many we can ask in the moment. Oh, there you go. Steve.
Steve, yeah. So Australia is one of the markets we serve. We serve the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, many European countries. Basically, the best thing to do if there's some countries where the model and the way real estate is sold is a little different. And with our launch program, which is where Jerry mentioned this when he was first starting, launch was the program he was in. He's in forward now because he's growing his business. With launch, we're extra careful because for a couple of reasons. One, we want the people we work with to be able to get results. And so we want to make sure you're in a market where this works. But the second part, and the cool thing about launch, is we don't just say, hey, it'll work. We actually have a guarantee on our end. And that guarantee basically says, hey, if you do these things and you don't get to at least a 5K month as the floor within the first 6 months of working with us, we give you your money back. And so we want to be careful to only work with people where we believe that's possible. Now, there's work. You have to do those things to be eligible.
It's in their currency. It's $5,000 US dollar in their currency. So in Australia, I know that's what, 8 or 9 in Australia.
Yeah, something like that. Good point to bring that up, Rod. So that just means it's cool for you. It's like, it's a guarantee, right? So it's helpful on, the people we work with but it also means that we're careful about being, sure we can work with somebody in each market. And so that's why even if you're US, right, we look at your local market. Now it's very, very rare that someone's in truly too remote of an area for us to be able to offer the guarantee, but it happens on occasion. And so, in your case, Steve, but for anybody, a really good next step is just to go to that replaunch.com/apply link and talk with our team, because it's not like this, you're not getting on this sales call where we're just trying to get like at any purpose you into coaching. It's like, that's not what the call is. The call is for us to take some time to get to know you, make sure, if you come in and say, hey, I want to make $100,000 a month within 6 months, maybe you can do that. It's just, we're not going to be the company that's like, yeah, we got you. Like, that's not how we operate. We try to be as transparent and straightforward as possible. And that involves your goals, your market, your work schedule. Like, we want to be able to craft what we could see as the vision for what you'd be able to do. And that isn't something where it's one size fits all. And that's why we don't just have a link where you can join coaching, right? It's, you have to go talk with our team. And I just think that's something that's important to us, because our business, just transparently from our business model perspective, we as a business make more money if you're successful. And what that means is, launch is the entry point. But when you start working with us in launch, we obviously, in order to make money from working with you, we need to get you to the goal. So that's step number one. But then once you do that, is we'd love to work with you in forward, right? We'd love to work with you in our ongoing programs. We have services like Jerry mentioned called REPP Talent, for example, where when you're ready to hire somebody in your business, we can do that process for you. We interview the candidates, screen them, grade them, right? If you don't ever get your business to the point of hiring, that service wouldn't exist, right? And then Rep Engine is another cool one where we do cold calling on your behalf and we book clients into your calendar. We want people to do that on an ongoing basis. So if they're not winning those clients, they're not going to keep doing that. And so I don't mean to, turn this into like, a selfish oriented thing, but like, our business doesn't exist unless someone gets results. And so that's why we do that starting from the very first day. And so I haven't really like talked through that much on here, but I think that's kind of what we see. So anyway, that was a long-winded way to answer that question, Steve. Sorry about that.
We got you, Steve. You just might have to get up early for one of the calls since you're in Australia, time zone difference.
Yeah,
that's okay though. Early mornings are nice. They're nice and crisp out there. All right, Ronnie's got a good question. Where's the Ronnie question now? All right, Ronnie, he's using the Instagram method. At what point does it start to pay off? Got 400 followers, 500 followers, 100 return messages, 200 return messages. Like, at what point does it start to pay off? And I know payoff can mean different things, but at what point do people start to feel like their work is working on the Instagram method? And explain the Instagram method a little bit too, because that was someone else's question.
Yeah. So a big picture of the Instagram method is what the people we coach, it's one of the main methods that they use to get clients. And from like a 10,000 foot view, it's, you create an Instagram account for your business, you set it up a certain way so it looks as genuine and authentic as possible. It's not about followers, it's just about having a page that looks good. And then there's a process you follow, like reaching out to agents, offering them a free first shoot. It's like written messages and video messages people send as well usually. As far as how fast it pays off, I hate when people say it depends, but it really depends. So there's the point of you starting the Instagram method, and there's the point of the quote unquote payoff. There's a lot that happens between there that will give you a good indication. So for example, we want to see at least 10% of people that you message showing interest back. So what I mean by that is, if you've sent 100 messages and you have one interested person, sending more messages isn't going to result in a payoff, right? It's like, we need to fix the issue. And there's a bunch of little stages where there could be different issues of the Instagram method. And so, Ronnie, are you in coaching? Rod, do you know if Ronnie's in coaching? I don't think so. But if you're in coaching, Ronnie, definitely that's something you should be talking with your coach about very consistently. And they probably, you know, I'm sure you have if you are in coaching, because it's just, there's so many little variables. That's like, it's, if you think about like a funnel, right? There's like the amount of message you send and then what's in your messages. And there's all these little tweaks you can make. So some people, okay, he said, yes, I will be. So yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not trying to just gatekeep it on my end, Ronnie, but that's, you know, that's part of why we offer coaching, is because there's a lot of factors that go into it. I would hate for you to send 500 messages, and, you know, there's a lot of real estate agents, but you can burn through a lot of them, and first impressions matter. So, you know, if you go send 500 of the wrong message, it's like doing more of that is going to actually hurt the business, not help it. And that's why I think, like, you know, we want to see little test batches. Like the first couple of weeks you do it in coaching, it's like a few messages, right? You start with 5 or 10 the first week. You kind of ramp it up as it's working. That way, you know, it's working, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And Ronnie,
but I mean, 100 return messages. If you get 100 people saying they're interested, you're really feeling
you're
it.
cooking. You're cooking at that point. And yeah, you spoke to Ryan. Yeah, I'm glad you had me look that up. You spoke to Ryan on our team. So shout out Ryan. Oh, very nice. So glad you were able to speak to her, Ronnie. All right, who's got the other question? Let me see here. We answered that. This is always a good question. Noah is currently under 1K a month. Congrats. I have a website set up and a good portfolio. How do I grow fast?
Yeah, I mean, the big answer
gasoline on the fire,
is a ton
basically.
Of client outreach, but obviously you want to have your business set up well. So when you get the clients, you convert them into paying clients and you get the referrals. So outreach is going to be the most important thing. It depends on how long you've been under 1K a month is part of it though. Like if you've been at 1K a month for a year, that tells me that something maybe needs to be fixed in your business. If you have been there a month, it's maybe just more clients and just more volume of client outreach. Let's see. Here's a good one. We got time for 2 more after this. So if you have a question, drop it in here, everybody. I know you highly recommend outsourcing photo edits, but I'm curious, do you offer editing presets in your editing lessons or simply teach us your editing process? Actually, we don't even do any of that anymore. And I know that sounds crazy, but editing for real estate media has changed so much, you know, from the time we first started. And one of the things about what we do now is like, we work with people daily. So we stay on the pulse of what's needed, what people need, you know, to be able to move forward in their business. And the vast majority of people are using something like auto HDR now, which doesn't even involve presets or anything like that. It's just fully automated. So I'll put the link. It's pretty cool. autohdr.com. If you use the /rep, you get like a free week to test it out. And I don't refer it because we have that relationship with them. We have that relationship with them because it's an awesome software. So all of our photos at Norman & Young are edited by auto HDR now. And it's a really cool. So the founder, great guy named Matt, and he owned a real estate media business up in Nantucket, really successful real estate media business, built it to, I believe, over 100 grand a month.
Sounds like a nursery rhyme or something.
Yeah, a little bit. But he was like, you know, he has a computer science background. He was really interested. So he built an AI editing company. There's a couple others out there now. The reason I bring that up is because people don't even really outsource their edits now. It's just like a software that does it, and you don't have any input. So we don't even teach that at all because it's just not something that's worth anybody's time to learn that. All right. Yes, absolutely. You can ask that. How big of a CF Express card should I buy? With real estate, you don't need a big one because it's not like you're at a wedding where you're going to be shooting like 1 billion photos and you can always just have 2 cards. So CF Express, I mean, you're using a camera that it's a full frame camera and it's probably a more expensive one. So you have to buy the more expensive memory cards because you're using this compact one. So I would just do the cheapest one you get away with. The 64 is probably going to be that. This is a really good question. If you were starting over today, would you trust auto HDR for all of your shoots? I tried it and it turned a dark gray wall deep blue. Here's the truth about this. Your editors will do that too, because it just depends on when the camera, you know, makes you're shooting an auto white balance, probably, even if not, it makes a reading about what the white balance should be, takes the photo, and then the editor's never been to the house. They don't see that. And so I think the ratio of that happening is actually less with auto HDR. But the cool thing is they just launched this. I'm sure Matt got like a ton of feedback around it. But now they have a thing where you can actually put in the hex color code. So if you had the legitimate paint sample, you could put in that color code number and it will repaint with AI, and it will get it dead accurate. And so, yeah, I mean, that's just where QC is important. You know, if you're delivering your photos, just skim through them, make sure it's not crazy off, and then send it over. So yeah, it's a cool feature. When I saw they launched that, I was like, I can't even imagine how many times Matt got a request being like, "Hey, these are the wrong color," you know, because that's just how it is. Like, it's a little bit subjective depending on how the photos were taken. So yeah, it's a cool feature in there. Man, I wish I owned Auto HDR though. That is a good piece of software, a good thing they've built. All right. Let's see. Are there any teams in Atlanta? Yeah, I'm sure there's probably 100 real estate photographers in Atlanta, to be honest. Big market. And if you DFW's 30,000 agents, Atlanta is probably at least 10,000 real estate agents. And a metric that I always think about, because it sounds like, oh man, I don't want to start a business there if there's already a ton of photographers. We have never seen somebody that has 100 clients as a real estate photographer who doesn't make 100,000 or more in yearly revenue. And so it just shows you if there's 10,000 photographers in a market, you need like literally 100 six-figure businesses to serve that hypothetical market. I just think that's interesting. And that's why I was saying earlier a little bit, like a lot of people, they think the market is smaller than it actually is. Like there's just a lot of real estate, just a lot of houses selling. So yeah. Well, thank you everybody. Great live, great Q&A. And yeah, keep at it. Keep putting in the work. It's like a great time of year in real estate media because we're like full swing into the busy season, you know, and it doesn't slow down until like November again this year. And then it's only slow for a couple months. But I mean, you know, I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me that Jerry said is just urgency is really important, like taking those next steps. And so whatever your next step is, right? If you're in coaching right now, you know what your next step is. Go to that checklist and bang out the stuff you need to do. Watch the videos, do the tasks, like have urgency. You know, there's a 6-month checklist. Doesn't mean you can't do it in 3 and then get 3 months of coaching past where you originally thought you're going to get to work with us. Like that's cool, right? And then if you're not in coaching, start taking those steps. I'm not saying you have to jump in coaching today, but start planning what it's going to look like to build your business. You know, if you don't have gear, get the gear. If you don't know what gear to get, you know, you got to work on that. Obviously, that's stuff we can help you with in coaching. But I know for a lot of people, they're not like, oh, I heard about real estate media today, I'm going to jump in coaching today. Like they got to make sure they want to do the industry a little bit more. Watch all my videos on YouTube, like spam watch the free content. Just immerse yourself and be urgent. And yeah, that's all we got for today.
If you've spoken to our team too, shout them out. I think, was your name Andrew? Guided REM from last, I think it started with the A. I'm going to guess Andrew. If that's not right, I'm so sorry. But Guided REM says, had a Zoom call with Nicole today. So ready to get the ball. That's really cool. Nicole loves, we call her Mundle because that's her last name. If you want to throw for a loop, call her Mundle. She'll be like, how do you know that? But we love hearing that, and the team loves hearing that too. So if anyone else on this right now has spoken to our team already about coaching, or if anybody on our team, whether it's Derek or Isaac or Jonathan or Nicole or Aaron or Megan or Jake or Ryan or Cliff on our team too as well. So if you've spoken to anybody there and you want to shout them out in the comments, they love seeing it. Like they love what they do. They love this industry. They love what our program's done for a lot of people they put back there. And their goal every day is to have meaningful conversations with all y'all. And they just talk about y'all all in our meetings and in like conversations y'all had. And they say nothing but great things. So if y'all want to shout them out in the comments, that'd mean a lot to them too. If you've already spoken to the team, you know, and if you haven't spoken to the team in a while, text them, you know, if you haven't jumped into coaching yet, reach back out, tell them you want to get creative. You know, we're about to hit busy season, like, or it's happening now. It's once the dang US thaws, but we getting there with it busy. So this, I mean, the time to strike was 2 months ago or 20 years ago. Right. But also if you've spoken to the team and haven't in a while, reach back out, say you want to get creative. If you haven't spoken to our team yet, click that link that Eli's putting on the screen there. I'll put it in the comments too.
I'm going to put the fancy version in the comments.
I'll put the fancy version in the comments with the actual clickable link. If you guys want to, you haven't spoken to us, use that link and book in. Like, we won't bite, I swear. We're not going to sit there and pressure cook you a sale. We don't like doing that. We just want to see if it's, like Eli was saying earlier, see if it's for you. See what coaching looks like. See what it could look like for your situation, and see how it could be tailored to you too as well. And give you a creative idea and just how it would look with you back there, and allow you to make give you the space to make the comfortable decision on it too, is how they do it back there. So if you haven't chatted with us, go ahead and hop back there. So Megan's getting a shout out from Warner over here too. And another one from
in the chat.
Got a couple ones from Megan. There we go.
Have a great evening, everybody. Appreciate you. Jerry, I know you're still listening as well. I appreciate you, sir. And we'll see you all soon. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
We got to pick the right music for today.
One day we're going to surprise y'all with new music, but Until then.
We'll do this one. This one's kind of upbeat.
Oh.
I'm not really sure how to judge this one. See you later, everybody.